worked out, because he could have been one of them players who really fans would really get behind. You know, with his nickname, the Grub, and all that sort of stuff. He's kind of, we love him, but you hate him, and all that sort of stuff. But he's never endeared himself properly to the Hull FC fans, as much for his performances as anything else. Because apparently, around the town, when people have ran into him, dead nice guy, you know, and stuff. But he's not done it on the field.
No, and they've already got one divisive figure.
Well, for how long? But yeah.
Oh yeah, but anyway, they didn't need to sign another one.
No, it didn't work out. Something else that I don't know if it'll work out, but Callum's thrown it as an idea. So Callum Percy got in touch. He said an idea for the Challenge Cup. He said just an idea about how to make the Challenge Cup seem like it lasts for more rounds. How about having Super League reserve teams enter in at the level with League One clubs, or even before the League One clubs? So basically, bringing Super League reserve teams into the Challenge Cup.
It's a no from me.
Yeah, it's a strong no from me as well. Maybe into the 1895 Cup to flesh out that competition more. Maybe. As long as there was some caveat that they couldn't get to Wembley, or couldn't get to the final. It's just weird, isn't it?
I would just rather we played more rounds of all cups and that it was just an open draw.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, I'd like us to go. I do not like the tiered entering of the cup. Outside of, you have your kind of amateur kind of community playing each other at that level because of, timing of the seasons, etc. And then you reach a point which is round 1 or round 3 or whenever it is, and then you say, right, well, professionals now come in, or semi-pros come in.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd have it completely open. I'd have everybody in at the same time. Why not have a League One team playing a Super League team? Why not?
And why not have a Super League team playing a Super League team, and then seeing a community club get through to the next round? I think it gives you more storylines.
It's absolutely what the cup's all about, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I would say exactly the same about the 1895 Cup. That has to have more substance to it, and the best way to do that is to have earlier rounds.
And the 1895 needs all the semi-pro teams in it.
Yeah, they all need to declare for it, and then I do think a better structure earlier on in cups is the way to go, rather than thinking about reserve teams or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's good idea. Good. It's good to have ideas and get conversations going. But I don't think
there's no such thing as a bad idea.
Yeah. Right, let's do some bits of news then. Wigan Warriors hooker Sam Powell signed a new 2-year deal to stay with Super League club until 2024. This actually could have been in last week's show, but I was too busy frantically trying to figure out how to sort out a mobile hotspot and get my computer set up on that last week when our internet fell down in the holiday lodge I was on. But it's not a surprise. It was never. I don't think he was ever going anywhere else. Certainly at this stage, he's 29, 30. Is still performing at a high level. I think it was a sensible, solid deal.
It's that classic deal that's good for both parties.
Yeah,
I would say. Former Whitehaven captain Mark Shackley has been banned from all sport for 4 years following a positive reading for a banned substance in a urine sample. The UK anti-doping test taken in September 2021 showed traces of clenbuterol, which is an anabolic agent. Shackley, now 33, retired that month because of a knee injury and said that he had taken a fat burner containing the agent to slim for surgery on the joint. He could not prove the violations were unintentional and the ban was imposed.
It's caused a bit of a storm, this one, hasn't it? On the basis that he'd retired at the time that he was banned from. But I suppose it's just showing that UCAD and Super League, the RFL, still take these things seriously.
They have to do. It has to be a blanket approach, I'm afraid.
An 8.8 sum to redevelop Wakefield Trinity's Bellevue ground has been approved by local councillors. Trinity were granted permission to overhaul their home, but I think I've credit should go to Love Rugby League, by the way. For anything that's longer than 2 sentences, we've taken it from their website. So do always visit Love Rugby League for your rugby league news. Trinity were granted permission to overhaul their home by Planning and Highways Committee in December 2021. The ground does not presently meet Super League's minimum requirements, with the club being given annual dispensation from the Rugby Football League. As part of their plans, Trinity will replace the existing East Stand with a 2-storey, 2,507-seat stand. And the money will make up about 80% of the funding needed, with the rest coming from the club and a $2 million from the Rugby League Resilience Fund set up by Wakefield Council last November. So it sounds like they've got themselves at least enough funding to finish that one stand, basically, which is a positive, isn't it?
Yes, because the one thing that, well, there's lots of things at Bellevue that need doing, but one of the things that definitely needs doing is a better seating offering.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we can talk about the sight lines at the stadium, and I know that's a bugbear for lots of people,
especially away fans in that shallow stand that they put us in. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the only way to do it. The days of pipe dreams of moving to, these shiny new stadiums are dead in the water at the moment. So you have to.
I also think those things aren't necessarily the saviour of clubs.
No.
Look at Salford's predicament as an example.
Absolutely not. I think maybe not on the same scale, but you can look at the way that Headingley's been redeveloped as an example for clubs. If you've got a dilapidated stadium, much like Bradford have, the way that Leeds have redeveloped that has been admirable, I would say.
Yep.
So Hull FC centre Carlos Tumavave will miss the remainder of the 22 season after rupturing his Achilles tendon against Catalan. The 30-year-old now requires surgery to repair the tendon, having already missed games with a hamstring injury and burst blood vessel this term.
Big shame, innit?
He always, when Hull FC play well, it always seems like the Hull FC fans are talking about how well Carlos plays. So yeah. A big miss for them, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that it's for such a long time as well. They're without Jake Connor, but the theory is he comes back in at some point. But that's just a huge blow. To lose someone of his quality, experience, and ability for the rest of the season, half the year, it's no good.
No.
Tonga centre Conrad Hurrell has signed a new deal with reigning champion St Helens to run until the end of the 2023 Super League season. So new 1-year deal for Connie. I think anyone who was talking about his signing 12 months ago, and I think David spoke about this on recent shows that he's been on, were criticising it. But at this stage of proceedings, he's done well, hasn't he? He's played probably a lot more than they were expecting to play in, with Regan Grace's injuries and the injuries for Will Hopewati, and now with Lewis Dodd being injured, the shuffle around that they're having with putting Hopewati at centre. It means Conrad Hurrell's probably going to end up playing almost every game this year.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him this year. He's been way better than I thought. Way better. Newcastle Thunder's Eamon O'Carroll has resigned as head coach of the Championship side to take up a role with a Super League club. O'Carroll joined Newcastle ahead of 2021 season, leading them to an 11th place finish in his first campaign. They're currently 10th in the Championship after 5 wins from their first 15 matches since transitioning to a full-time model, but they'll now be searching for a new coach.
Yeah, I don't know what his Super League job that he's going to is. I haven't seen anything about that. But
no, and to be honest, I would have thought he'd be on the edge of getting fired, because they've been possibly the most disappointing team in the Championship this year, I would say.
Yeah, it's a full-time team to be outside of the playoff spots. And they haven't looked good when I've seen them play either. They've been really scratchy. I think they've been very disappointing. So I agree.
Yeah.
Warrington winger Conor Wrench has signed a new 3-year deal with his hometown club until November 2025. We already knew that because they talked about it on Sky about 2 months ago, but finally it's been announced. Promotion-chasing Championship club Featherstone have signed Leeds centre Jack Broadbent for the remainder of the season. The 21-year-old has made 5 first-team appearances for the Rhinos this year. He's out of contract at the end of the season and has long been linked with a move to Castleford for next season. Leeds have confirmed that he is not going to be a Leeds player next year. So it seems like Jack Broadbent's played his last game time in Amber and Blue.
Interesting.
Well, they've brought Zach Hardacre in, haven't they? It's a kind of multi-purpose outside 3/4 line cover. So I guess that Jack Broadbent could go as a result.
Yeah. Anyway. League One club Hunslet have signed former Castleford halfback Jake Sweeting from Championship strugglers Dewsbury on a loan for the rest of the season.
Championship side Whitehaven have signed Catalan's duo Corentin Lecam and Cesar Rouge, as well as Luke Broadbent from Warrington, all on loan.
Huddersfield Giants have released back rower Oliver Roberts to pursue a new opportunity in the Championship. The 27-year-old is off contract at the end of the season and has made only 3 starts in 2022. So he's been granted an early release to continue his career in the Championship.
Yeah,
I did see he's been signed, but I don't know where.
Newcastle.
Is where
he's signed on a deal until the end of 2024. So it's a 3-year or 2.5-year deal for him there. So yeah, he was kind of maybe now that the cup's been done, they might not need as much. Think they need as much squad depth. I don't know, but he was a squad depth player at the Giants, wasn't he? After his return from his loan spells at Salford, so not a surprise that they've moved him on. Another person moving on from Huddersfield, but only on loan, is Jack Ashworth. He's moved to Featherstone on a short-term loan deal. I think, got to say, Fev have needed to beef up their pack, haven't they? It feels that way after the 2 games against Lee recently, so maybe this is part of that. Don't know what you think.
Reality check. Reality check in terms of where they are in terms of good luck now. So it wouldn't surprise me if they make a few more. There's a few more comings and goings in Fev.
Yep. Catalan Dragons have suffered a double injury blow following the international break. 23-year-old Arsen Morg will miss between 4 to 6 weeks due to ankle ligament injury in his right ankle, and 25-year-old prop Jordan Desaria will undergo surgery to repair a fracture in his left foot. So the time frame on his return is as yet unspecified, but that's a shame. 2 good young French players missing in action for the Dragons. What else have we got written down here? Oh, yeah. Transgender players have been banned from women's internationals while Rugby League's governing body does further research on its inclusion policy. International Rugby League said it wanted to balance the individual's right to participate against the perceived risk to other participants. The move comes as a number of sports are considering transgender inclusion. Transgender swimmers were last Sunday banned from women's elite races if they had gone through male puberty, and World Athletics President Lord Coe has hinted to the BBC that athletics could follow swimming's example, saying it is set to discuss adopting a new eligibility policy and that fairness is non-negotiable. So the transgender story comes to Rugby League. I hadn't really considered it being a factor really in Rugby League. It has been talked about much more in individual sports, hasn't it, than team sports up to this point. So yeah, dicey topic.
I think it's fair to say this is quite a complex topic, and I think it's something that all sports are trying to tackle. I think it doesn't have any easy answers. There was one statistic that was kind of quoted in one of the things about one of the swimmers. I think the quote was that on average, female swimmers are 11% slower than their male counterparts at this certain distance, and this particular athlete was only 2.5% slower than the male athletes. So I think the risk is